However, all that said, guys, changing my amplifier setup for the next tour. So
Okay.
this is, this heard here first on Little Feat Radio.
So here's a picture. I've circled this little box. What is that little box?
Well, you mentioned Charlie Martinez already. He does front of house for us. Charlie and I have been producing records together for 22 years. He produced and engineered all my albums, and we're best friends. And he thinks I'm too loud on stage. So when I was in Macon, Georgia, doing a almond tribute family event for the GABA Association, which supports music education in the state of Georgia in public schools. It's a great cause. I was playing at the Opera House there, and there was a gentleman who opened for me who was making these wooden barriers to put in front of loud amplifiers. And he loaned it to me for the show. He doesn't make them anymore, and I got one of the last ones. And it's got foam on the other side. It even has a microphone clip where you can put a microphone to mic your amp. And in the front, I think it's just pine. And if you've seen guitar players who are very loud, including myself with Greg Allman, we've all put plexiglass. The problem with plexiglass, well, you can see the amplifier, but the problem with plexiglass is that the reverberation on stage sounds like garbage. It's like your guitar is banging up against glass or plastic or plexiglass. So the wood and the foam absorbs the sound, and it doesn't mess with the stage sound at all. And it blocks what's hitting Charlie straight in the eyeballs, because my amplifiers are middle of the stage. Just like when I was with Greg Allman, I was at the center stage. With Little Feat, I'm at the center stage. And center stage is the position where the amplifier hits the engineer right in the face.
Okay.
Behind that barrier is a 1966 Fender Vibrolux Reverb with the original speakers. And that is with two 10 inches. That's the main sound you're hearing through the PA.
Okay, so it's not the Orange amp.
The Orange amp has a master volume circuit. It's an AD30, which is a 30-watt head that was designed and popularized by Jimmy Page. That head has a master volume that's pretty incredible, where you can drive the amplifier, but have the amplifier run very quiet without affecting the tone. So that amplifier we adjust to Charlie's comfort. The old 1966 Vibrolux doesn't have any bells and whistles. So you got to crank it up, and it's just got to fly. That's why that's got the sound barrier. However, all that said, guys, changing my amplifier setup for the next tour. So this is, this heard here first on Little Feat Radio. If anyone's heard of the company, the boutique amplifier company, Two Rock, Bill Kennard, who is the builder, is a lifelong Little Feat fan who would absolutely love this show, and I'm going to turn him on to it. And he was very excited to have an amplifier out with Little Feat. He designs amplifiers, a variety of amplifiers, but his flagship is a Dumble, 100-watt Dumble, which was Lowell's amplifier. So he sent me a 100-watt Dumble with two 12s.
Whoa.
Copy, his version of it. It's called the Custom Reverb Signature. And they made some changes to it in the last few years, where it's got two different EQ structures that are very, 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 very similar to a couple different Dumbles you could get back in the day. So it's in our locker in Nashville, and I'll be working on it with Bruce Pearson, our tech, when I get there for rehearsals. And it has a 100-watt or 50-watt choice, and it's a vertical cabinet. And probably what you're going to see on the next tour, if everything works out, is that wood barrier will be covering up the bottom half. And I think it's going to be the best of all worlds. You'll see the head popping up over the top. I'll have one speaker that pops up over the top I can hear. The bottom speaker that hits Charlie will be blocked.
Excellent. Sounds like a good plan.
That's the next approach.
Yeah. So I know I've seen Derek trucks, and he uses those plexiglass amplifiers, and he just cranks the amp all the way up and goes. So
he uses Allesandro makes his amps.
yes.
I think he's out of Pennsylvania. Great guy. George is an amazing builder, and just really like a high end. He does high end, I think, headphones, and he might even do stereo equipment. I don't know, but he's like a total audiophile cat, and I mean his amplifiers are insane. But they're more, what Derek is using is more like a super reverb on steroids. I mean, you know, anything Derek plays through sounds amazing, but I love that amplifier. I actually have an overdrive pedal I'm using that I heard he was using recently, which I was surprised by.
I didn't think he used any pedals other than a
Well,
tuner.
there was a clip that came my way through my friend Drew Smithers of Derek playing, and I said, man, that sounds like about 5% better than it usually does. And he told me, well, he's using this Klon copy, Klon.
Yeah.
There's the Klon Centaur, which is like this, you know, ridiculously boutique vintage pedal now. But it's made by a company, the one I'm using, and apparently the one Derek had in this picture, this clip I heard, I'm looking at it right now, is the PCE-FX Aluminum Falcon is what it's called.
Okay, that's a new one for me.
Aluminum Falcon. It's $200. He made a, there's the big footprint, which is $300, which looks just like a Klon. The small footprint is $200. It's a small pedal. I can't tell the difference between the two of them in sound. They're both just insanely great.
Very good.
And they're specifically really amazing with single coils. And for the guitar players, and for everyone else is left now, but for the guitar players who are still here, it sounds a lot like what I wish a tube screamer was. It takes all the harshness out of the tube screamer and refines the mid-range of the tube screamer and makes it very focused. And you can hear, you know, I don't know what, I think Derek started playing with it in like 21. I don't know if he's still using it or not, but if you check out some clips of him playing live between 2021 and now, I think you'll hear there's just a little bit through the Allesandro, it's just pushing that amp just a little bit more, and he's getting more harmonics. It's really cool.
Very good. Well, thanks for going into that. Now, to get back to the non-guitar players for just a second.
Yeah. All right, everybody come back in the room who's not a guitar player.